Cubers, in today's video we're going to learn how to solve a Pyraminx step by step. So if you're a complete beginner, don't worry, we'll guide you through everything you need to know, every move we're going to make. And before we dive in, let's just go over the basics. Tips. These are small twistable pieces on the corners of the Pyraminx. They don't affect the main solve, but they do need to be aligned correctly, otherwise the whole face will be out. We've got centers. They are fixed pieces in the middle of each face and they determine the color of that face of the puzzle. And then we've got edges. So edges are the main pieces we're going to be solving. They connect the centers together and they are key to completing the Pyraminx. We're also going to cover notations and algorithms. They make solving the Pyraminx easier. So grab your puzzle, let's get started. Okay, to make things simple, we're going to use a few notations. And what a notation is it's just a move, and then when you group loads of moves together, you get what's called an algorithm. So we're going to start with notations, then we'll go into algorithms. And like I say, this is a beginner's video. If you already know what an algorithm is or the notation, then feel free to skip to step one. That's hard to say. But anyway, if you are looking at your puzzle, always hold it the same orientation. So with me, blue is going to be on the bottom, it's going to be on the table. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go like this. I'm not going to look around my puzzle. I'm not going to confuse myself as to where I am. Blue will always be on the bottom. Well, for now, unless we say otherwise, let's just assume blue is always on the bottom. If you haven't got blue, pick another color. The process is going to be exactly the same. Blue's on the bottom, remember. We've got U, R and L. That's all we need to know for the beginner method. U means the upper layer, R means the right side, and L means the left side. So if you see a U, we do a U clockwise, and it's always as you're looking at the tip. So if we see a U, we look at the U tip and we do a clockwise rotation. If we see an R, we would do a R clockwise. So this tip, and we're going to go clockwise. That is R. And then if we see an L, we're going to look at the left tip and go clockwise. Really simple, really easy, sort of intuitive. If you see U prime, so a U with an apostrophe, it's anti-clockwise. So you'd look at the U tip and then you would go anti-clockwise. Same with R prime, you'd look at the right tip and go anti-clockwise. And L prime, we're going to look at the left tip and go anti-clockwise. That is the notation for the Pyraminx. Let's move on to an algorithm. So when you have an algorithm, it's just a sequence of letters, and that is just a sequence of moves. So in this example, I'll put it on screen now, we've got R, clockwise, U, clockwise, R prime, anti-clockwise, and U prime, anti-clockwise. We'll just do that one more time. R, U, R prime, U prime is R, U, R prime, U prime. Really simple, really easy. Let's dive on in to step one. Okay, so before we solve our Pyraminx, we've got to make sure it's scrambled. So I'm just going to do a random scramble. Okay, so Pyraminx is fully scrambled. I've got it placed down on a table. What we're not going to do from this point is go like this. I don't want to spin the puzzle. All I want to do is I'm going to find the logo, I'm going to pop it down, and I'm just going to leave it. We're not going to just go mad. We'll just rotate it like this. We'll look around it, but we're not going to fiddle it all this way, that way, and just get lost in our solve, because that is what most of the videos on YouTube that I ever watch, that's what happens. When I'm trying to learn how to solve something, the person in the video is just going crazy, and then I get dizzy, and then I fall over, and everything just goes wrong. So we're just going to put it on a table. We're just going to very calmly make slow moves, and we're going to learn why we're doing the moves that we're doing. Like I say, beginner video, let's get started. So in step one, we're going to break this down into two sort of sub-steps. We're going to have step 1A and we're going to have step 1B. In step 1A, we're going to solve the tips. And then in step 1B, we're going to sort of solve these center parts. So all I want you to do is make the tips, they rotate on their own, line up with their adjacent centerpiece. So we've got yellow, yellow, going to rotate round, green, green, and red, red. Now this is the only time of this puzzle that I want you to actually flip it. So the blue face or whichever face was on the bottom is no longer on the bottom. This we need to line up so that it's blue and blue. So I can see I just need to go anti-clockwise. You'll notice this is a magnetic Pyraminx. If you haven't got a magnetic Pyraminx, I would highly recommend upgrading. This one is the Yushin Little Magic magnetic, really, really good. You'll see if I flick the tip, it sort of auto aligns, and that just helps with speed, and it's a lot more sort of satisfying. When it aligns, it's really satisfying. So I'm going to rotate it again. We're going to do this one. That one goes clockwise. We've got red, red, blue, blue, green, green. And this is the last tip. Look at that one's going to go clockwise. And we've got yellow, yellow, blue, blue, green, green. Now, if I look all around the puzzle, every single tip is solved with its adjacent center. That's what we're looking for in step 1A, and then we'll move on to step 1B. Okay, so in step 1B, what we're going to do, I'm going to break my own rule, and I'm going to go like this a little bit. But in step 1B, what we're going to do is have all of these tips and centers, these sort of pairs, I'll call them pairs from now on in. We want all of these pairs to be in the correct position in the puzzle. And what I mean by that is, let's just pop our puzzle down. I've actually got my logo here the right way up, so I can use that as a sort of reference point. But all you want to do is pop your Pyraminx down on a table like this and note the 3 colors that are on the tip. So here we've got yellow, green, and red. What color on our Pyraminx is not included in this tip? I'll give you a clue. It begins with B and it rhymes with clue. It's blue. So we know that the bottom face, the face hidden on this Pyraminx right now, should be blue. So all I want to do is rotate it round. When I see a blue piece, so a blue pair like this, I need to rotate that whole layer so that I can't see blue pieces. So we'll just go like that. Ignore the edges, we're only focusing on the tips and the centers. So rotate it round again. Here I've got green and red, so I know blue is on the bottom. And then here I've got blue and blue, I need to rotate that down. And now if I rotate my puzzle all the way around, you'll notice that the tips, all of the pairs, form this sort of triangle feature. So we've got yellow, 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 yellow. Here we've got pair of greens, pair of greens, pair of greens. And here we've got pair of reds, pair of reds, pair of reds. And on the bottom, I'm going to break my rule, we've got pair of blues, pair of blues, pair of blues. But I'm going to pop that back down again so we don't get confused. And we're going to move on to step 2. Okay, so in step 2, what we want to do is hide or move all of the blue pieces to the bottom layer, but they need to make sure that they're in their correct places. So this is a blue and red piece. What we wouldn't want to do is put that here, because we've got blue and, well, it's actually in place, but we wouldn't put the blue and red piece here, because how is this face ever going to be completely solved, completely yellow, if this one's red? So I'm going to put that back down again. And what we want to do is note the second, like I say, note the secondary color, blue and red, and we want to have the secondary color facing us. So red is the secondary color, blue is the primary color. Red is facing us, these 3 red pairs. What we want is the blue piece to be either here or here. Now, this blue piece is here. How do we get this blue piece here or here? Easy way is if we just do a U move. We can see the blue piece is now gone here. If your blue piece was here originally, you would do a U prime, and then this red piece, obviously yours was blue, would go over here. So anyway, don't worry, we're going to go through all 3 cases one by one, just so you know what you're doing. But like I say, your secondary color should be pointing at you, and it should now be in this position on the left. If you've got one of the other cases, just skip forward a little bit in the video and you'll get to it. If you don't feel confident in skipping the video in case you miss it, then just keep watching and we'll get there eventually. So what you want to do with the blue over here, very simple, 3 move algorithm. All we're going to do is R, U prime, and R prime. And now that red and blue piece has been put into position. Okay, now, case number 2, we've got the blue on the right-hand side. So all I've done is I've aligned the secondary color, which was green. I've brought the green triangles or the green pairs to the front. They're now facing me. And I've moved the blue to this right-hand position over here. Then all we want to do is the exact opposite of what we just did, which is going to be L prime, U, L. Really simple, only 3 moves, and what that's done is put that blue and green piece from up here down here. Now, there's one more case that you might have, and that is if this piece is in the correct position but swapped the wrong way. So if you've got a blue and green piece, or blue and red, or whatever colour your one is, if it's in position but the wrong way round, all we need to do is take it out, get it into one of these positions, and then place it back in the correct position using one of the cases that we learned before. Sounds complicated, but it's quite easy. So all you want to do is hold it like this with the blue piece facing you, and do either of the moves that we just learned. So I'm going to go R, U, R prime. And what that does is it brings it out into this position, and then we can just do a U prime move to bring the secondary colour to the front. Got the blue over here. And then what I'm going to do is the L variant, so which was case 2 that we learnt, which is going to be L prime, U, L. And that has just inserted that one. All we've done is taken it out and flipped it round. Now, what you might have to do is just realign this top, because you want to make sure you've got 3 pairs of the same colour. So obviously this, we've got a pair of reds, greens, greens. This is wrong. We want to make sure we're at this point where we've got this sort of double pair on the bottom and then this pair on top. And then we'll move on to step 3. Okay, what you want to do in step 3, this is probably the hardest part of the whole solving process, but it's still really easy once you know how to do it. We just need to rotate this sort of top layer until one of the edges is in the correct position. So if we look at the edges here, we've got yellow and green, red and green, and red and yellow. We need one of them to be in the correct position. At the moment, this is wrong, and this one's wrong. If we rotate the top layer again, we'll notice this one's wrong, and this one's wrong. So we'll rotate the top layer again, and we'll notice this one's wrong, but this one is correct. You will always have one that is correct at one point of the rotation. So once you've got one correct, you can see it's correct because we've got yellow and yellow, green and green. We want to hold that at the back. So our 2 that we want to flip are at the front. And we've got to do this algorithm, which is R prime, L, R, L prime, U prime, L prime, U, L. What that's done is it's just flipped these 2 front edges. Then all we want to do is line up our tips again. So here we've got red and red matching these, so the 3 pairs are on the same face again, and then we can move on to step 4. Okay, here we are in step 4. Step 4 is the final step. Hopefully we'll have a solved Pyraminx in like 1 or 2 minutes time. So what you want to do in this step is take note of your edges. So here we've got 2 greens facing us, here we've got 2 yellows. What we want to do is rotate the top layer until the edges are solved. So I'm going to go like this, and you'll notice that all of these edges are now in the correct position. The tip is wrong, so this pair needs to go clockwise, this red pair needs to go over here, and this green pair needs to go over here. So we've got 2 algorithms to learn. I'll put them both on the screen. You can do the same algorithm twice, or you can do the anti-clockwise one or the clockwise one, depending on which one you need. They will both be in that corner or that corner of the screen. So we can see that this red pair needs to go clockwise over here, this green pair clockwise here, this yellow pair down here. So grab your Pyraminx. Now we need to do the clockwise algorithm, which is going to be L prime, U, L, U, L prime, U, L, U. Now, if you had to do an anti-clockwise one, you can either do that one twice, which is just going to cycle it twice. It will move the yellow from here to here to here. Or you can do the anti-clockwise rotation, which is going to be the exact opposite. R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime. And this is exactly where we were at a minute ago. If I just offset that layer, this is exactly where we were at when I could do that algorithm to cycle it clockwise. So that is how you solve a Pyraminx, guys. I hope this video did help. Remember, it is for beginners, so I'm sorry if I went a little bit too slow, but I wanted to make it thorough. I wanted to make sure you understood the moves we were doing and why we were doing it. If you can, try and use a table like we did. Don't go like this, because this is when everything gets so confusing. People, when they make videos on solving cubes, I found that they go too fast and they rotate like absolute crazy. It makes me dizzy sometimes when I'm watching the videos. So I thought I'd just do a slow video, we'd slow it all the way down, and we'd make it as simple as possible using a table. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what you want to see in the next video. If you have any advice or feedback on this video, then do let me know in the comments below. And please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.